adjunct faculty member here. I teach English 1301 and 02, but also American literature, mostly from post-Civil War to modern day. And I also do a specialty course on Chicano Mexican-American literature.
Which I'm looking forward to taking. Well, my first question is, what do you think Allen Ginsberg's poems implied about American society, America in general?
Okay. Well, I mean, these are poems that really spoke to the times. If you know a little bit about Ginsberg, he actually was part of the Beat Poets in the 1950s. So he knew Jack Kerouac, and in the 50s it was all about conformity and Donna Reed with the pearls and vacuuming in your heels. So the Beat Poets were kind of the first rebels, the first ones that were stepping out of what conventional America was supposed to be. And so really, when I think of the 60s and I think of Ginsberg, that is just an extension of that rebellion, and that he really spoke to a voice of young kids that would later be called counterculture, the hippie movement. And I think it really reflects of how not everybody can live up to that ideal. Not everybody wants the 2.5 kids and the perfect husband, the perfect wife, the house with the picket fence. That you can still be American and still rail against your government, still challenge conventional authority, still look and still embrace your freedom of speech. And so I think Ginsberg's works really reflect that.
Okay, Miss Navarro, when you read Howl, what was your first reaction?
Well, I still hear the first lines of, I watched my generation, destroyed by madness, stark naked, paraphrasing there. But I think about especially Vietnam veterans, and I think about the impact of what war does to us, and that we did lose a whole generation of kids, not just only to drugs and experimenting with marijuana and peyote and all that other stuff, but also what Vietnam does. And I think we forget at the end of the day what our government's, the negative side. We send our kids to other parts of the world to fight for other people's freedoms, but the veterans that came back, they came back broken. They came back lost and shattered. And unfortunately, for example, my best friend, her father committed suicide a couple of years ago. He was a Vietnam veteran, and there's something about that war that we're still trying to heal from. So the idea of fighting for freedoms, believing in an idea, and then the reality of that. And when I think of Howl, I think Ginsberg taps into that he saw bright, beautiful people just burn out, burn bright, and just kind of fade away. And I think we're still experiencing that, especially when we have people coming back from Iraq. There's a very high suicide rate now, that something is not being addressed. And I think his poems are very much still relevant.
Hi, Justin. I want to ask you why, because so many people don't like poetry, what draws them, what draws you to Ginsberg's poem Howl?
Well, after I read Howl, I felt that the poem was a little weird, freaked me out a little bit because of the drug references and the homosexual imagery. I'm more used to thinking about poetry as more about the stereotypical romance, the roses are red, violets are blue kind of stuff. So this poem really was a shock and just took me by surprise.